Section 3 The Last Days. 3.1 The meaning of the last days. Due to the crime of the fall, the three great blessings God had granted our first ancestors were not fulfilled. Based on God's love and principle, but instead were actualized in an unprincipled way under the tutelage of Satan. Human history since then has been the history of God's providence of restoration. Despite its evil beginning, the world under the sovereignty of Satan must one day be transformed into the world where goodness reigns, where the three great blessings are fulfilled centered on God. The Messiah comes at this time of transformation. The last days is this time when the evil world under satanic sovereignty is transformed into the ideal world under God's sovereignty. Hell on earth will be transformed into the kingdom of heaven on earth. Therefore, it will not be a day of fear, when the world will be destroyed by global catastrophes, as many Christians have believed. In fact, it will be a day of joy when the cherished hope of humankind, the desire of the ages, will be realized. Since human beings fell, God has attempted more than once to consummate his providence, to put an end to the sinful world and restore the original, good world. Nevertheless, at each attempt, human beings failed to fulfill their portion of responsibility, thus thoroughly frustrating the will of God. Consequently, dispensations of the last days have been repeated several times. This can be confirmed by a close study of the Bible. 3.1.1 Noah's day was the last days. God said to Noah, I have determined to make an end of all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence through them. Behold, I will destroy them with the earth. This indicates that Noah's day was the last days. God wanted to destroy the corrupt, evil world, which had been ruled by Satan since the time of the human fall. He intended once and for all to purge sinful history, biblically reckoned as 1,600 years, by the flood. In its aftermath, God intended to raise up Noah's family, who worshipped him and no other, and resurrect the world of God's sovereignty upon the foundation of their faith. This is how the time of Noah can be considered the last days. Nonetheless, when Ham, the second son of Noah, committed a sinful act, which reaffirmed the fall, Noah's family could not fulfill its portion of responsibility on behalf of humankind, and the will of God was frustrated. 3.1.2 Jesus' day was the last days. God has foreordained the fulfillment of his will. Hence, the goal of the providence of restoration is unchanging and shall be fulfilled without fail. Therefore, even though the providence of restoration was not accomplished through Noah, God called upon other prophets to prepare anew the basis of faith. Upon this foundation, God sent Jesus to vanquish the satanic sovereignty, which has held this world in thrall, and to establish the God-centered ideal world. Accordingly, Jesus' day was also the last days. This is why Jesus said that he came to bring judgment, and why Malachi prophesied of Jesus' coming. Behold, the day comes, burning like an oven, when all the arrogant and all evildoers will be stubble. The day that comes shall burn them up, so that it will leave them neither root nor branch. Mal. 41. Jesus came to restore the original, ideal world. However, when the people of Israel did not believe in him, the human portion of responsibility was left unaccomplished. This meant that the fulfillment of the will of God had to be prolonged until Christ's second advent. 3.1.3 The day of Christ's second advent is the last days. When the disbelief of the chosen people led Jesus to go the way of the cross, he could accomplish only spiritual salvation. It remains for him to return and accomplish the goal of the providence of restoration both spiritually and physically, and restore the kingdom of heaven on earth. Hence, the day of the Christ's second advent is also the last days. For this reason Jesus said, as it was in the days of Noah, so will it be in the days of the Son of Man, and prophesied that many natural calamities would break out at his return.